And you're checking out the Coach's Show with Coach Yarborough. I'm Dennis Davis along with Jamie Ulrey. Coach, how's it going?
I'm great. How are you guys?
We are great.
So let's talk about 3-0. How does it feel to be undefeated 3 games in for you guys already?
I mean, it feels good. I mean, I can't complain. 3-0, perfect to this point. You know, what's to complain about?
So talk about this last game. You guys traveled to Macon, played the Georgia Doom. It started out, I saw the game on YouTube. For those of you tuning in at home, they have a YouTube channel for the Carolina Havoc.
Right.
And there you can follow along, check out the games that you may have missed. And there was footage of the Georgia Doom game. And this is what I saw when I was watching it. It started out where it seemed like Georgia Doom was looking good early in the game. Then something happened. There was a turning point in that game. And then the Havoc quickly took control, and they just couldn't come back after that. Right. Take us through that game with the Georgia Doom.
Well, we struggled offensively up in the beginning of the game. And our defense held it down as usual. Charles Gunners always have those guys prepared. That's our defensive coordinator. Darryl Clark got hurt earlier in the game, so we struggled. We used wide receiver Tommy Zimmerman at quarterback. We filled in, did a really good job. He actually led us to the win. So, I mean, we had early struggles. We overcame those, and then we pulled it out.
Now, I'm sorry. I'm just going to cut in. This is the second game where Clark's gotten injured. Do we have concerns for the remainder of this season?
At this point, we do.
We do. Okay,
we do
but
Clark, yeah.
the positive of this is you've had to go deep into your bench, find other people to step up, and they've done that. So that's great. But knowing that Clark was our go-to at the beginning of season, and now we're 3 games in, and we, unfortunately, it is football. There's going to be boo-boos. So what are we thinking as we go into, we're on a bye week, and then we go into another game. So what are we thinking there?
We're actually going to bring in a quarterback this upcoming week, to check him out, see how he does. And we still have Jesse Scroggins, and we still also have Richard Q. So we're going to see whichever one wins the quarterback battle, that's who we'll be playing.
Oh, so a little bit of a quarterback controversy already.
I like this.
We're 3 games in, and there's already a quarterback controversy.
Right. Well, I mean, as long as Darryl Clark is healthy, he's our guy.
Right.
But a guy like me, I'm trying to make a controversy.
You're trying to make something out of it. I like it.
At this point, he's not healthy. He's not at 100%. So we have to find a reliable backup. And we haven't done that to this point because, as you guys seen the Peach State game, we struggled with with Scroggins and Q. So we have to find a backup that we can count on.
Well, we're 3-0 still. Okay, so let's take the issue. Perfect world. Clark's healthy. All right, y'all, let me just tell you a little something about this mic. We're not friends. So Dennis keeps having to adjust it. So you good now?
I'm good with that. Okay. Well, no, are you good now?
I'm not. I'm too animated for this stuff. So anyway, we're 3-0. Okay, we've had to move the quarterback around a little bit. Once we get that position solid, you know me, I'm the constant optimist.
Right.
We're going undefeated, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's the plan then. Sorry.
Absolutely.
It's okay. We had a little technical issue.
Technical issues. Okay. So, all right. So you can go on now. I'm done.
So back to the Georgia Doom game. I wanted to ask you, what was the turning point in that game? Because it looked like Georgia Doom came out strong. And then something happened. There was a turning point. What was that real turning point that got the Havoc to really get some traction in that game?
Jason Myers turned it on. He started getting after the quarterback pretty good. And then our defensive backs decided to lock it up. Victor Hampton had, I think, 2 interceptions. He returned 1 for a touchdown.
Right.
Martell Moore had an interception, pitched it back to Christian Russell, which was probably play of the game. Jimmy Legree had an interception. So all 3 of our defensive backs had an interception in the game. So our defense, man, is crazy. They're crazy. They're good.
Well, I noticed after the game we were really pretty hyped up. I know that the GM, Steve, had done some FaceTime Lives with players that had made big plays. And you can't help but get caught up in that enthusiasm.
Right.
It was an away game, and I, like Dennis, I was watching Facebook Live. I was checking out the YouTube, and you can't help it. I'm in my apartment. I'm yelling. The cat thinks I'm completely crazy because it's just, I love the game. It's fantastic.
Right, it is. It's a very fun, high-paced game, and we're playing at a high level right now. I mean, we have our struggles, but, I mean, in my opinion, I think we're the team to beat. So
I think so, too. Absolutely.
There was a moment in that game where it felt like you, the other coach, and the ref had this long discussion on the field. It felt like an easy 5 minutes. You were just, all three of y'all just hashing something out. Right. What was being said?
A lot of unpleasant things. Coach Gunners and I were having it out with him, letting him know how we felt about his calls and the calls that we weren't getting. And we felt like the game was a little, one-sided on the penalty calling. So we was letting them know about it a little bit.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this, because you say when you coach that you're soft. Not soft.
Right.
Soft-spoken. You don't get animated.
No.
Is that what we saw on the field with the ref conversation?
Absolutely.
All right. There's, how many different parents, they have different parenting styles.
Right.
I've never seen Coach Yarborough with his kids, but he strikes me as the kind of dad that he can just whisper at his kids like, y'all better straighten up. Mm-hmm. and then all of a sudden everybody gets quiet and they just, everyone's in straight lines. That's my mental picture.
I think his wife would probably differ with that idea.
I don't see him as a kind.
She would differ.
I'm pretty sure she runs the house.
I'm always the good guy, and she's the disciplinarian.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I bet she runs that house.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Okay, so back to the parenting thing.
Yeah, I don't see him as like the kind of dad that would be screaming at his kids. I see him as like, hey, y'all better get this under control right now.
Yeah, that's it. That's me all day.
So you were that way with the ref?
No, no, I wasn't. I was screaming a little bit. Okay. I'm the kind of coach where, with my guys, I'm all for them, and when I feel like they're being mistreated, I'm the first one going to bat for them. So anytime I ever feel like one of my guys is getting mistreated or not getting just treatment, I'm gonna go after. I'm gonna defend them all day.
Well, we're like that with kids too. Like going back to that parent thing. And the analogy is, I'm going to handle my kids, but if somebody else comes at my kids, you're going to see a whole new me.
Right.
Because it is. You just can't help it. That's just part of your family, and you protect and you defend. And so it's kind of good to see you get a little sideways.
Absolutely.
Say.
Absolutely.
Wish I could have read lips.
Because we, like I said, we preach family. So, nobody can get on family but family. So if you're outside of that circle, you kind of violate.
I mean, seriously, if Coach could have thrown a flag at the ref, he would have thrown 5 of them.
Right.
That was the
20.
5. That was that was the feeling I got when I was watching that, and that was a long discussion with a ref. Usually, a coach talks to a ref, it's maybe like 3 seconds, and then that's it. Coach Yarborough, like you could tell. Like he wasn't about to get kicked out of the game. Don't go back and watch the YouTube and think, man, Dennis is really making it seem like it was super animated. It wasn't that at all, but you could tell it was a long chat.
Mm-hmm. It was a very long discussion. I had to have it.
Okay, but you basically got your way because end of the game, do you feel like you were heard?
No, no. I just think the better team won. But
there you go.
I think the better team won. No disrespect to the Doom because they're a very good football team. But I think at this point in the season, we're just a little bit more seasoned, and because it was their first game, so they went through their first week woes and all those things, and I just think we're kind of starting to get all the bugs and the kinks out, and we're starting to kind of roll. I mean, we get our quarterback healthy, I don't think we're getting beat at all.
I agree wholeheartedly.
What's funny is what Coach is not saying. Like, I'll tell you what I was asking earlier was, what was the turning point in the game? Deep down, that's what I think really was the turning point. Because if you go back and you watch that game, it was right before that whole chat went down with the ref is when Georgia seemed to really have some traction in that game. After that chat, something changed. The whole atmosphere changed. The attitude of the players, I think, changed. Right. And you could definitely feel the fire coming from the Havoc from that point on in the game. I mean, at that point, the Havoc was really gaining momentum in that game. And that's what I really think was the turning point in that game was Coach Yarborough getting fired up, ergo the Havoc got fired up.
Well, and it goes back to what you're saying, Coach. It's your family. So you're out there defending them. They're going to ball up even harder because you're out there making a point for them. So they're like, I'm coming. I'm going to show you, Coach. You know, and that's what makes it even more exciting to watch. I bet as a coach, it's even better.
Right. I love them to death. I love each and every guy on our roster to death. And you could tell they feel the same for me and the rest of the coaches. So whenever they see us going hard for them, they're just going to go even harder for us on the field. So, I mean, I love to watch it.
That is fantastic.
So now that you guys are doing a bye week, what's going on the bye week? I mean, clearly you're allowing guys that are injured to kind of, put some icy hot on those wounds. What all's going on this week?
I mean, guys are just kind of relaxing, shooting to the beach, going to Columbia. A lot of guys have never been to South Carolina before outside of playing football, so now they're really getting a chance to, observe and to see things and to kind of visit and just, be a tourist for a second. So guys are having a blast right now, and it's funny.
Well, haven't you, I know that I was talking to the GM earlier, you guys have been all over the PD doing a bunch of charity work and stuff. So tell me a little bit about some of the places you guys have spent the last couple of weeks in the market, in the schools and things like that.
Well, we went to schools in Lake City yesterday, schools in Florence District 1 today. Today, guys are at Wilson High, Boys and Girls Club, right now as we speak.
Love it.
And we're going back to middle schools and elementary schools in Lake City tomorrow.
That is fantastic. What's the reception of the young students?
They love it, because we have a lot of guys that have played in the NFL and played big-time college football, like at, the South Carolinas, the Clemsons, places like that. And those are some of the schools that those smaller kids want to play at. So they're loving it. They're embracing the guys hugely. They love it.
And what is the message you guys are delivering about? Are you talking about staying in school, keeping it straight, not having peer pressure, bullying? I mean, what are you guys focusing on when you're in those moments?
Bullying was the first topic, so we kind of touched on that a lot. And, student and especially, the student athlete thing and, getting kids to remember that student comes before athlete.
Right.
Without grades, you're not even eligible to play. So, books first.
There you go. That just gave me goosebumps.
That's pretty awesome. What are some of the weirder questions that you've had from students? Because I know from my experience going to school, speaking to students, you always get the hard questions from the kids. It's always the adults that give you the cream puff questions.
Right.
Except for me, I don't give cream puff questions.
I want to ask, what are the harder questions that the kids have been asking you guys?
A lot of kids ask a lot of crazy, difficult. Crazy questions you don't want to answer, but you kind of have to because the kids ask. But I think a kid asked Rashad Carter probably the craziest question. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I know it was kind of weird though. Because it was a smaller kid, maybe 10 years old. So the questions are kind of awkward, but
I think it's great grooming though for the athletes too, for our Havoc, because as you progress in a athletic sport, you can get up into NFL, you got to go through all these press conferences and all that. What other way but trial by fire with a bunch of kids?
Right, because they have no filter.
You got to duck and weave and you got to answer those things on the spot. So,
right, they have no
let's
filter.
keep putting them through that.
No filter at all.
I know the kids will always ask the real personal questions too. They'll start throwing questions out so how much money do you make?
That was asking, are you a millionaire? How much money have you made? Stuff like that. And guys are like, well, we made a decent amount of money, but nobody's rich in the room though.
Right.
Oh goodness gracious.
So now that you've you're 3-0, you've really done this Carolina Havoc thing right. By now, I'm sure you've got a great coach's story. Tell us your favorite coach's story so far.
Well, probably week 1, it was a struggle, man. Because I'm new to the paperwork, the logistical part of it. I've always just been a player, so I've never had to do the paperwork. So, week 1, we go out, and week 1, we dress 2 guys, Michelle Robinson and Thyron Lewis, and they come to the game and they see the field because the field isn't all the way put down, and they just 2 hours before the game they decide not to play because it's it's unhealthy. And I'm like, golly. So at this point, the 21-man roster's already turned in. So we kind of have to, like play with 19 guys. So now we're 2 players short. So until they decide they're going to play at halftime. So
because you guys were winning.
Right. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So that was like the weirdest thing ever. And that was like the strangest. And even Coach Gunness has been coaching for a while. He said he'd never experienced anything like that. So that'd probably be the weirdest story I have for my coaching career, probably. Now, how often is it the players actually get to see the field go down and go through this processes? If you're not familiar with how indoor arena football is and how the field is laid and that kind of stuff, I mean, I'm not standing up for them. They should have stuck and dressed and played.
Well, let me say that, like, even on the NFL level, where they put down fresh sod,
right?
Sometimes even on the pro level, you see running backs. They go and they try to, turn on a dime, and you see like a whole piece of sod fly up,
right?
So field conditions are field conditions, but what I don't understand. I mean, you guys play on turf. I mean, what could they possibly be fired up about?
Well, I mean, sometimes it can, because it can be gappy. Sometimes there's gap in between the yard marker, the yard lines, and you can see like the concrete or the padding under the turf, and that is kind of scary because guys, I mean, you have to protect your money. Your legs are your money in football. So some guys have the potential to play in the NFL. Some guys have the potential to go back to the AFL. So you could be missing out on potential millions or thousands and thousands of dollars. So I could understand it, but me being a competitor, I'm like, come on, fella, you got to play.
That's where I'm at with it.
I mean, duct tape fixes everything.
Everything.
I would have put down a fresh layer of duct tape and boom, problem solved.
We did. We put a couple layers down.
So we've definitely worked out a lot of kinks between the quarterback with and it's still his back. Is it his back?
Yeah, pinched nerve.
Pinched nerve. Yeah, that just hurts to say it. Between that and then sod issues, referee issues. I think we're good. Any other issues you project?
No, I hope everything else is mistake-free from this point forward.
Let's do it. So we're on a bye week. Next week we come back. We've got a home game on Sunday. It's going to kick off here at 3:05 at the Florence Center, and it is themed faith, family, and football, right? And you guys are playing the Jensen Beach Tigers. Where are they out of?
Jensen Beach, Florida.
Oh, Florida.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So what can you tell us about the Jensen Beach Tigers?
Nothing.
So
I don't know anything about them.
So we don't even have game film that you've studied where you're like, okay, they like to run the ball a lot. I mean, we don't even have that.
No. All I know is they've been playing 8-man football for the past 6 years, but they've been playing outside. So now they're trying to become their new arena team. So, they're trying to convert to the arena game. So I guess we're going to be that introduction for them.
All right, so last week we were in here and you Googled, and but you went through to find out what the.
You want me to spy on their social media?
We got to make sure that they have less social media
Allow
than we have.
Allow me to break out my mobile device.
Let's do this, shall we?
Right.
Let's have our little social.
I know we're winning.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Right. So last week, Coach, you and I, we challenged people to go on, like, share, and post on your guys' Facebook. During the game last weekend, we actually had somebody doing play-by-play on Facebook, and there was a lot of interaction. So we kind of had this little. Have to be better than everybody else socially. So let's see what we got. Can you even find them?
I don't even think they have a social media page. No wonder you know nothing about them.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't even think. Yeah, I don't.
So I didn't even know there was a Jensen Beach, Florida.
Yeah, it's in the Panhandle, like
down.
They must have just moved to Jensen Beach from like North Dakota or something.
Maybe.
Yeah, no. I don't. If you do a search for Jensen Beach Tigers, nothing comes up. I mean, just the scheduled event that was created by the Florence Center.
Oh, wow.
That's there.
That's right.
There's also a Facebook entry for Jensen Beach, Florida.
Okay.
But there's no official Facebook page. Therefore, you can't really say that there's any Facebook likes because there's no page.
So we won that one.
Right.
Let's take that.
So we win in there.
All right. So now
we can win on the field.
But Coach, here's the thing. We're kind of teasing about this because they're new.
Right.
But it's still competition.
Absolutely.
We still got a game to play.
We have to prepare as if they're the Doom.
Exactly.
So.
which we defeated. But go ahead.
Yeah, but the Doom was a really good team.
Yes, they were. And you know what? I think it was a great challenge for you guys because it stretched you in ways you weren't prepared for that you haven't seen against the Peach State or against Cape Fear. And I think every game that we're coming across, you as a coach and the players are being developed in different ways because they're presenting a different challenge for you.
Right.
So as we're getting into throughout the season, I think we're going to see a lot of that happen. You know, and I'm excited. I'm a geek. I think I'm officially a football geek.
That's always good, though.
He's still searching for this.
I'm still trying to see if this team even exists.
It's over with, man. You might as well let it go.
No,
They're going to come in on surfboards.
I really think this is,
Like it's a hoax.
yeah.
8-man team. So they had to build a roster to meet all of the requirements.
Right.
And they're going from an outside league to an inside. So that's
8-man rules outside are very, very similar to Arena League rules.
Okay.
You know, so it's just they've just been playing outside though. So I mean, it's gonna suck for them.
Right. That's okay.
You know, because I would hate to, you know, open up my Arena League debut with the defending AL champions. So
Right. Now, the PD Vikings are an outside league. And a lot of them were tryouts for our team. Did we pull a couple of those in?
we had a coach that played, which was Lindsey Robinson.
Okay.
We actually invited a couple players to camp, but they never showed up. So.
Oh, ouch. Okay, so that would have been a good insight into outside to inside, the comparison. So maybe we'll get some.
I gave up. I went on Ticketmaster looking for Ticketmaster. I did a search for Jensen Beach Tigers. And Ticketmaster even said, I don't know. You know? So.
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
so
we got a picture of a helmet, so obviously they've got to be legit, right?
that's not what that means. It means that there's a picture of a helmet on the schedule. That's all that means. So, I mean, how do you prepare for a virtual unknown like this Jensen Beach Tigers?
More Madden.
Well, I mean, we go in doing what we're going to do. We don't let them dictate what we're going to do. We don't let them dictate the pace of offense or defense. So we just go in, try to dominate on both sides of the ball, special teams included, and just do what we do. Win.
There you go.
Move the ball, stop them from scoring, things like that.
I know.
We're
still a miss by this, by the way.
That's all we can do.
I totally got taken off guard by, why don't we look up Jensen Beach Tigers? We looked them up, and there's nothing there.
I didn't realize I was sending you down to no man's land. I
Yeah,
had no idea.
yeah.
I figured, like we did last week, we would have some stats.
All right, so clearly there's no stats. We wonder if there's even a team.
But let's find out next Sunday. Let's all show up at the Florence Center.
Right.
3:05 for the kickoff. If y'all have not, I know, sorry, my Tennessee comes out. If you have not made it to the Florence Center for a Havoc game Sunday afternoon against the Jensen Beach Tigers, I know, you like that, would be a great opportunity. It is a family fun environment. There's inflatables out there. The team is fantastic. There's a bunch of interactive. It's faith, family, and football. They're going to have artists out there, gospel groups, church groups singing. I mean, it is going to be a great weekend to bring the family out and see the game.
That's right. And then you get to see just how deep this team is, the Jensen Beach Tigers.
We got to air quote it.
I have to wonder, do they even have a bench? You know?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't know.
So
Maybe I'll get to play.
So what does that mean
Maybe.
when you say that
Maybe they might
I'm
call you
showing
for
up
help.
in pads.
They might call you for help.
I'm there.
like
I'm just kidding.
when Coach says it's an 8-man team, I wonder if it means that there's only 8 players that will show,
I think so.
and the
I'm
bus
hoping
driver.
not. I'm hoping not.
They will be sponsored by Red Bull or somebody that gives them wings because they're going to need it. Sorry.
You know,
Not
in
a
the
nice
words
joke.
of Coach Gunnins, I mean, our Coach Gunnins always said, hey, if 20 grandmas show up, we have to play football.
You got to play football. And you know what? Like we've been talking about, every game you've had, you guys have adapted, overcome, taken the victory, and you've grown. Mm-hmm. And I think this is going to be the same way. We may not have stats, but here's the thing. Every time you come in this room with us, we've talked about how good somebody else was. And what happened? We came back with a what? A W. Mm-hmm. So we're going to do it again, right? On Sunday the 14th, even though we're going against a team we're not familiar with. You guys have refined your skills enough. I think we're going to be in great place.
I do also. I think we're going to be in a good situation. I mean, we're okay.
Okay.
We're fine.
Yeah, you said you were trying out a couple more quarterbacks. When are you doing that?
Well, just one.
One.
We're going to bring in one.
Okay.
Yeah, he should be here Monday.
Okay.
So
And you guys have already ran him through the drills. You're familiar with him.
No, we actually just played with him. He played again with the Doom.
Oh, and you're gonna
Oh, look at that.
scandal erupts.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that there's probably going to be like 8 players coming up this next Sunday. I'm kidding.
They might be available. No, I'm sorry. Now look what you did. You put this whole thing in a train wreck. We're going to blame Coach Yarborough for this one.
Please don't. Please don't.
Okay, so the Doom person is going to be coming in, and we're going to
Yeah,
take a look
Nathaniel
at him.
Paxton.
Okay,
Yeah, he played at Jacksonville State University. Pretty good.
I love it.
All right, so let's do a quick rundown of the schedule that you have coming up. So obviously we talked about Jensen Beach Tigers. That's the April 14th game on Sunday. You have the Carolina Energy. That's going to be a road game for you guys.
In Charlotte.
In Charlotte. And that's going to be Saturday, April 20th.
Yes, sir.
You also have the Carolina Aviators on the schedule. That's going to be a non-league home game.
Right.
The last Sunday of the month, April 28th. And then you also have, these are your league home games coming up. You've got the Carolina Predators coming to town. That's May 11th, the day of Sister Strut.
Right. So that's a big day.
That's Sister
I'll
Strut.
go into my spiel in a second.
Yep. And then we also have the Georgia Doom. That's going to be a home game. We're going to get to see Georgia Doom May 18th at the Florence Center. Right. And then you guys finish out the season on the road with the Carolina Cowboys.
Those are some great names. Can I just say that? That is fantastic. So back to May 11th. So May 11th, we're doing Sister Strut, which is a 3K breast cancer walk. And the Carolina Havoc team is, we're going to have a couple players out there for the launch of the race. The proceeds, we do a portion of the proceeds go to the Cancer Relief Fund here in the Carolinas. I can't even talk today. I'm sorry, you guys. But the team's going to be out there with us, and then all of the people that are part of the team will get a ticket to the game that night, and then we're going to have a couple of pink Havoc jerseys that we're going to auction off as well. Okay. So all of this stuff is just bringing awareness about breast cancer, and then the portion of the proceeds is going to go back to the actual market. So I'm super excited about this.
Well, listen, Coach, I know that we're running out of time, but I wanted to say, guys, nail down practice this week because we got to look great against this team that we know absolutely nothing about, the Jensen Beach Tigers. Anything else before we wrap, Coach Yarborough?
No, I appreciate you guys for having me as usual. Thank you, guys.
It's your show. We're just glad to be a part of it.
Now we can go ahead and hang up now and go back to playing Fortnite and Madden until then.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Of course, guys, before we go, I want to say get your tickets at the Florence Center box office. Also, get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com and check out the Carolina Havoc and support the Carolina Havoc professional arena football at the Florence Center.